What's up, former party people? This is Jerry, you know, the one who actually combs his hair on the A is for Alcoholic podcast. Now, if you're finding value in listening to the AIFA podcast every week and you want to support sharing it with others, we invite you to become a sustaining monthly or per show contributor. Go to patreon.com/AIFA. It's super easy and it only takes a quick moment. It's about as easy as buying one of those pre-cooked space chickens from the grocery store, taking it outside, giving it a big old kiss, and kicking it into traffic. Why would you do that? Anyway, you do you, and I'll do me. Again, go to patreon.com/AIFA. And with that, people, let's start the show.
A is for Alcoholic is a program about recovery. My name is John, and I'm an alcoholic.
And my name is Jerry, and I'm an alcoholic.
Join us as we go through the alphabet of alcoholism, one letter at a time.
Okay,
Welcome back. Welcome back.
So you say be our guest. Welcome back.
Be our guest. Be our guests. This
Put our croutons to the test.
croutons.
Our crudites.
No, how's the Mr. Burns one go? See my real gorilla vest.
Oh man! Oh, see my vest. Yeah.
See my vest. It's made
from real gorilla chest.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
The beret of poodle on my noodle would be
Yes.
best.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Oh, like my loafers, former gophers. It was that or skin my chauffeurs. My daughter was watching that the other day, and that came up, and I was like, "Holy shit! All of this is the best thing in the world." And I made her watch that one little part like 3 times, and she's like, "Yeah, it's pretty funny, Dad." And I'm like, "Man, you don't know comedy. Get out of here."
I know,
dude.
right? I think that one probably lasted me. I mean, I'm still laughing about it. So
Yeah.
but that was a
it?
good like 5-6 years I was living off of that one. I was high off of that one.
Yeah, dude. There's something about African endangered rhino. The whole thing is fucking genius, dude.
The pentameter, the
Yeah.
meter of it all,
Yes,
the
it's
rhymes,
perfect.
was Conan behind that one, or was that after Conan?
I think it was during Conan, but I don't know if I know he's the one the famous for the monorail.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
if you haven't guessed it already, this is not a Simpsons podcast.
No, it's like a mule with a spinning wheel. Doesn't know how he got it. Doesn't know what to do with it.
But you have tuned in to A is for Alcoholic one more time.
Welcome.
Welcome to everybody who listens. Thank you to everybody who helps us, supports us on Patreon at patreon.com/AIFA. All the good folks who reach out and say hello on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Although I don't really I don't really do the Twitter too much. I don't understand it. I don't know if I'm just too old or if I haven't taken the initiative or.
I didn't use it right. I primarily used it for porn.
Is that a thing?
There's some stuff on it, and so I'd be
Okay.
like, "Oh, a naked lady, I'll follow her." And then eventually she would be like, "Trump 2020" or something, and I'm like, "Really, dude, naked lady, you're gonna bring fucking I'm done."
Oh, that's not what I
She'd
came
say
here
some
for.
just flat Earth wild shit, and I'd be like, "Nah," and then eventually, yeah, I just got off of it
Right.
because it was really inefficient for porn.
What about TikTok? Do you know about this? I'm curious.
That's for children.
Okay.
That's for children. It used to be called Musical.ly. Olive did a couple of them with her cousins. It's just kids like it's Vine. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
It's like that, except I guess the more appeal is for little kid like 10-year-olds with phones who are singing along to some shit I don't even know. You know.
Because I'll see like cats and stuff, and it'll have like
Yeah.
TikTok in the bottom, and
Right. It's
Okay.
just a video app where there's
Just a
short
video.
clips that
Got it.
typically had like lip syncing.
yeah, that was the other thing I didn't understand how they did it. Like you lip sync along with the words, and I don't know.
Right. So catch A's for Alcoholic on TikTok. It's 240 dudes in their 40s talking about their crippling alcoholism.
I used to drink, but now I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know. Don't look for me. I'm curious, but I'm not interested. You know what I mean?
I only know it through Olive, and I'm like, man, this is baby shit. I ain't fucking with this baby stuff.
So today, Jerry, I wanted to talk to you about perfection, and N is for nobody's perfect.
Right.
And one of the things We could probably just end it there because nobody's perfect, and so, well,
Bam.
what do you do with that?
Podcast over. Right. Good night, Joe.
But good night. But I was at a meeting, and it was we were reading out of the Sober Living book, and it was this one about being good to yourself. And I think it was chapter 17 for anybody who wants to stop and read that one. It was pretty cool. And for me, it was, for a very, very long time, and you'll remember this because I would always reach out to you on Sunday mornings, but Sunday mornings were like this thing that I had to go to this meeting, and I had to be there, and it was like life or death, and I would have a terrible week if I didn't go to this meeting. It was like the springboard, right? And so, and I don't know if you ever felt that way in the beginning, like it was like I have to be there. If I don't do it, then everything's going to go to shit, and this is the only thing keeping me alive. And and I think that fear was founded. I think that fear was good. I think that it kept me on the right track when I could have very easily fallen off. But now 4+ years on, there'll be times where I'll get invited to go to a birthday party on a Saturday night at a roller rink for a 41-year-old man named Walter. Which
that's weird.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to Gluten is not
it's
your
only
problem.
weird for him and his character. We're going to talk about Walter again on the podcast, but just Walter on roller skates. Is there a girl? There's got to be a girl involved.
There was a girl there with him, yes.
Right, because usually Walter's like, roller skates, John, that's for children. Not a child, John.
I didn't skate.
Anyway.
I didn't skate. Yeah. It was too...
How was the roller skate jam, though? Was it fun?
It was... No, I mean, it was a pretty miserable experience. It was pretty...
Oh, man.
We didn't stay very long. They skated. I guess Walter had a good time. He got there. He went up on the skates, and then he said, "You don't have to do this. I wouldn't wish this upon anyone."
Oh, geez, it was definitely a girl.
Yeah,
like, we should go roller skating for your birthday. And he's like, okay.
So we made some cupcakes for him, and that was it. Where was I?
Oh, you're talking about going to a party.
So yeah, so I didn't. It was weird. Anyhow. Listen to the other podcast, and you'll hear all about it next week.
I will now. Yeah.
So I spent the night at my girlfriend's house, and she lives, 30 minutes away from where I live and where the meeting I go to, and we stayed up a little bit later because we were out a little bit later, and we went to the grocery store, and our Saturday night is like going to a party, leaving early, hitting the grocery store. I got some green grapes and some watermelon, and we watched some Scandal on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we stayed up till about 1 a.m. and slept in, and so I didn't go to my Sunday morning meeting, and I was like, oh, but there's this one at 2:00 I've been to a few times. And again, it was the meeting to me, and not like giving away anything that was said in there, but the meeting to me was really good, and it was really cool because this idea came up multiple times, including myself, that, I'm here because I wanted to be somewhere earlier and I couldn't make it, and something got in the way, and life happened, and I was going to do this, and then I couldn't make it, so that's why I'm here. And it was a really nice example of that sort of, well, we're not perfect, and we can't, we don't always, we're not going to be there every single time. And it's also, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it's not, as long as you were being diligent, as long as I'm being diligent with my program, it doesn't matter whether I go to a 10:30 meeting in one town or a 2:00 meeting in another, and I go and try and find what I need in that moment, in that day, and it was just really cool, this idea of forgiving myself for not being perfect and not adhering to every single rule that I've made for myself. And if I break one of those rules, then I'm shit.
Right.
That idea of, and I think you brought this up before about the being a self-loathing narcissist.
Yeah, dude, we fucking own that shit, dude. Yeah.
Thinking you're the coolest person in the world and thinking you're a piece of shit at the same time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Diametrically opposed ideas.
Or you're the piece of shit that everybody owes something to, or something, that
right. It's all that entitlement and self-loathing just running in tandem. It's a fucking weird. It's a weird quality. Well, I was looking at my phone because I was trying to find the quote for it though, because you made me think about it. Especially they say it in the preamble of the meetings where they say I had to look it up because I didn't want to get it wrong, but it was we strive for spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection, right? And so that really resonated with me. I mean, not enough that I could remember it exactly, but it resonated enough that like I knew the concept of like I of working on yourself, not to become perfect, but to like become better, you know? Because I don't think anything really, I mean, there are very rare things that are perfect, if at all, you know, there's always a catch, there's always a bill, there's always like a hook. But getting better though, at least you're a little more forgiving of yourself and you get to improve, right? I mean, that's the whole thing about this is not only is it not drinking anymore, but now it's getting better too, you know?
And
Yeah.
you know, you talk about it's spiritual perfection or progress, not perfection. And I
Right.
think that even if and like sometimes my program is not always based around spirituality, and
Absolutely,
some
yeah.
days it's based around different things, and sometimes I need this. And so whether it's being, you know, progress in my service or progress in my behavior, or another one that I like is, you know, practicing these principles in all my affairs. And I
Right.
go, well, I didn't practice them in all my affairs today, but
Right, yeah, dude.
I got
Well,
angry at somebody, or yeah.
yeah, I went fucking roller skating.
Right. So
But,
like, what's the big deal?
Hey, now you know you don't want to go roller skating. It's part of progress, you know. But I think when I think of the term recovery too, in regards to like nobody's perfect, right? Like I always felt at the beginning I felt like I just wanted to recover just enough to get to my normal state, or my normal state's the wrong word. Well, I'll try to use it an analogy or a metaphor. Like it's like breaking your leg. You recover from the broken leg, and to me, I always felt like, well, I don't want to just recover just so I can walk again. I want to recover so I can start running. You know
Right.
what I mean? And then maybe from there I can run farther. But I never ran before, so now not only do I have to get my legs up from broken to walking, but now I've got to like go up to this next kind of level of it, you know. But even running everywhere, that's not necessarily perfection. You know what I mean? It's just recovering to the point to where you're just kind of flat is, I don't know, I feel like for me personally doesn't really work. I want to get a little better than flat. Like I want to be able to progress and you know, do things better, be able to handle things better, emotions better, be able to handle those situations where you know, you do end up at a party where everybody's getting drunk and you do feel like I remember going to that first party after a while and everybody was drunk and I hated myself. I was like so mad at myself because I couldn't drink with everybody else because I wasn't normal anymore. I was like, I'm not normal. I'm not normal. I'm fucking broken and I'm a piece of shit, you know? And I left really early, and I didn't leave because I wanted to drink. I left because I was so mad at myself. I was so mad at this thing that I am, or that I caused. I mean, like, did I cause this alcoholism by drinking, or is this repetitive behavior late in my mind and could be anything? Could be whacking off or eating cake or stealing, or do you know what I'm saying? Gambling or whatever. So, you know, I was trying to strive to be better than that, you know, to be able to overcome that and be like, okay, cool, this is just how I am. And so I have to learn how to live with this, you know. Nobody's perfect, man. Nobody's perfect.
And
This mess is a place.
This mess is a place. You're doing some cross stitch there.
Some death clock, dude. Yeah.
Death clock. Oh.
Oh yeah.
I know what
the
you're talking
Metalocalypse.
about.
Yeah, the
Yes.
dude's got a big. Well, when you texted me earlier, you're like, nobody's perfect. It made me think of Metalocalypse because he has a big belly rocker that says "Po Buddy's Nerfic," and then under it says, "This mess is a place."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this idea of excelling beyond and leveling up and being and actually thriving in life seemed absolutely unattainable to me like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%, man.
I was trapped. I was worn out. I was tired. I was drunk. I was probably hungover more than I was drunk, and I think that's that's
really
tips.
profound, actually. Yeah.
When you think about the time you spend. So I would be hungover all day long at work, all night long at work, just to try to get drunk for like a few hours before I went to bed, and then wake up. And so I was spending, I don't know, 12, 13 hours being hungover just so I could spend 2 to 3 hours being drunk, and it was the wrong way around.
Yeah.
So when I think about what I'm capable of, and I'm gonna probably use running as a metaphor here, just because it's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
Not that I want to not that I'm trying to push fitness on anybody or
We
or
just
toot
need a
my
little
own horn.
soundboard, a little chime, like a little song that plays in the background when you start talking about running. When both of us start talking about running. Yeah.
Right? And so it's this thing where I remember last year at this juncture, at this time of year, and I was just walking, and I would just walk, and I would walk, and I never saw this person that I am now. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
see it. I couldn't see it. It wasn't visible to me. And
Yeah.
so I would say to anybody who thinks about like achieving a goal or living in this sort of higher level or living in this higher plane of existence, which I think is what we're doing now compared to, if you
I hope
compare
so.
yourself to 5-6 years ago,
Oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Then yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah.
that there's this idea. I was talking with my girlfriend, and she used this phrase, and she said it's a and I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but she said it's a cumulative life. So it's this everyday thing. It's these patterns, these routines. You choose how to spend an hour. Do you choose to spend it sitting on the couch, Jerry, or do you choose to go for a workout? If you
Right.
chose not to do something in your routine that makes you feel good, like what if you chose not to do your stretches in the morning? And you're just like, I'm not
Right.
going to do it. And you'd be like, damn, why didn't I do that? And I
Right.
don't know about you, but that kind of stuff bugs me during the day. I'll think about it all the time. I'll be like, or if I'm on a run and I go and I take a shortcut, then I'll think about it all day for the rest of the day. Like, why did I take that shortcut? That shortcut was what? An eighth of a mile? Why didn't you go the extra eighth of a mile? You can't go an extra eighth of a mile. And not to get hard on myself, but now I've just kind of learned to like, just go a little extra eighth of a mile now because I can,
Right.
because I feel it's this accumulation of decisions and choices and decisions, and it's so simple, and it sounds fucking impossible when you're in the depths of it. when you're drunk and you're in pain and you're I think you said this to me one time. You called me this, and it made me laugh, but I always remembered it, and you were joking, I think from love, but you were like, you're an overweight underachiever.
Oh yeah, the overweight underachiever. Yeah,
And I
John
thought it was
Staley.
a very clever use of play on words. And so I would use those monikers were like, I'm going to use it as my strength, right? That's going to be, I'm this big, boisterous whatever, and I don't care. Who needs to achieve anything? I've got everything
Right.
I need right here. And I'm, thinking like,
Got my booze, got my smokes, rent. I got part of rent, maybe. Yeah.
right? How many months is that? Did you do that one where you're like just scraping by for rent?
Forever, for all the time. Sometimes still today, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, but at least today it's for different reasons. It's not that I spent the rent money.
But how do you feel about it today compared to like, is there fear and
Because it's salvageable. I know I can figure it out. There's always a way to figure it out now, instead of back then where it was just fucking, that was it. Like you either did or didn't. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Mm-hmm. There's always a way. I can always find a way. Whereas if I don't have it, I can figure it out.
So like
Or
before
I
you
know
would
I'll make it.
Yeah. Before you would just like, fuck it, I guess I'm gonna pay rent on the 12th again.
Right.
When you were
Exactly.
drinking.
Yeah. And get a late fee, or have fucking me and Coda, our old landlord, would send her muscle-bound son to knock on the door and be like, "Where's the rent?" Like, he would fucking shake us down. We'd pay him right there with what we had on us.
Wow.
And it was like $600 a month.
Wow. And
Yeah.
he would come down and you would just
Yeah,
give him
Crystal's son from the Silver Lace down here in Eugene. She'd send her son down. He'd come knock on the door and he'd fucking shake Coda down. Cody'd come up, be like, "Dude, Crystal's son's at the door." I can't remember the guy's name. He's like, "Dude, he's shaking me down. He wants the rent right now. What do you have on you?" And usually I had some of it, or if not all of it, or at least he had, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause we'd go and drink it and then be like, fuck, we got a few more days, dude. I'll do some more fucking tramp stamps tomorrow or whatever, some tribal armbands. And yeah, I got shooken down a few times, dude. But back then that was normal. Nowadays, if my landlord sent his son down here, well, he wouldn't have to, but if he did, I'd be like, really, you gonna shake me down? Like,
It might be time to move.
yeah.
But I mean, now whenever I have a money problem, you know, when you do, I feel like I can sit down at the desk, the imaginary desk, sit down at the drawing board and figure out something, and you know, make some phone calls and be preemptive, or go, okay, I have X amount of days to make X amount of dollars, and that's doable, and not just panic and decide to drink the rest of it tonight.
Right. Don't hit the fuck it bucket, you know, like push the fuck it button and be like, well, I'm fucked, so I might as well just fuck myself all the way. You know. Yeah, and that's definitely progress. Well, obviously, yeah, that's absolutely progress. You know, I've got a lot more at stake too than I used to.
Right.
Circumstances change, you know, but even, I mean, I was a drunk dad, so, you know, I was gonna say I have my kid and shit now, but I mean, I was a drunk dad, and we had tons of issues of money while I was drinking, because I drank it. You know, dude, you live in Arizona, Costco, they fucking will sell you just a gallon of booze for super cheap. You go and buy that gallon of booze. Except, you know, you don't drink that 1 gallon of booze.
You drink multiple.
You're not like, man, this fucking handle of Costco whiskey is going to last me forever.
No,
it's going to last me the rest of my life. I'm like, what is this handle? Is this a half gallon? That'll give me, what, 3 days? Maybe? Yeah, maybe.
Well, and then you get into that thing where I don't know if you ever had this experience where you would either, if you bought a lot, you would end up drinking more. So then it becomes this sort of, well, I'm just going to buy the little bottles so that I don't drink too much.
Yeah. That was in 2005. I'd buy a pint every day, a pint of whiskey, and drink the whole pint every night. That was, yeah. So I wouldn't, because I was afraid if I bought a fifth, I would drink the entire fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was maintaining.
So I can't imagine. I mean, that's not true. I can't imagine being in that situation again. I see it now as there's problems to be solved, and I can.
Yeah.
I have the ability. I have the emotional fortitude to deal with things that come my way. Is that emotional fortitude?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing, but when I talk about progress and that accumulation of things, like even if I look back at the week and how I got here and why I'm here, and you know, the things that I have and the things that I've done and the things that I'm working on and really excited about, you know, the different projects, like these things would not exist. And so I think that one of the biggest tools that I have been using now, and I know that we sometimes roll our eyes in at the language of self-care, because it can sound kind of corny, but is forgiveness. You know, and forgiving myself for not being perfect, because it is my inclination. It is my inclination, and I think part of it too comes from it's my inclination to be hard on myself, and that comes from my dad. I think part of it, at least, a lot of it. And so I hear those words, and I hear those things about, oh, you're a piece of shit, John, or you can't do that, or you can't handle that, or that's not good enough, or that's stupid, or that's weird, or that's goofy, and like, why would you do that? You know? And I now can go like, it's okay, and give myself permission and give myself forgiveness for not getting something right the first time. Like that I think that sometimes I assume, because I'm 42, you know, that I should be good at all these things. And then I go do something and I'm like, I'm not good at this. And I go, why am I not good at this? I'm 42. I should be way better at this than I am. And come to find out, I've only been doing this for 5 or 6 years. And it's like, you give a 5-year-old, you know, do you know what I mean? Like I don't.
Give a 5-year-old pair of little Nikes and tell them to run a marathon. See what you get.
No,
you get a crying ass 5-year-old after like 4 blocks.
Exactly. So I think that accumulation begins, and I feel like it's starting to open up more and more. Like, I don't want to say exponentially, but the payoffs are better and bigger, and not in any sort of monetary way, but I just feel so much better. And we talk about choices and what I had to go spend. I had to go drop my car off to go get fixed today, and it cost me a lot of money, and it sucked. And I was like, well, what am I going to wear? I got to, lay out some clothes. And I was like, well, I'll just put my running gear on because I got nothing but hours and I can't do anything else. So I fucking dropped my car off and I ran around whatever this weird part of town was where the auto malls are, and dilapidated buildings and all kinds of weird shit. And
I love it. You always find the opportunity to run. And in every podcast, you're like, man, I had to go get a couch and it took too long, so I ran. Like every podcast, you tell me about some fucking side trip where you took running, where you're like, hey, I had to go do something, so I just, I went for a run and took my running clothes and ran. Well, I think it's great. It's funny. It's really cool.
It is funny. It is funny because it's just like, because I know it looks weird when I roll up and everyone's got their whatever clothes on and
their jeans and shirts
and stuff,
and you're in your fucking, I don't know what your running gear is. It's an umbrella hat.
Yeah, well, it was pretty sunny and hot. No umbrella hat today, but no, I try to be a little more form-fitting. I don't get like the short shorts and the big long like tank tops, but
some satin ass shorts. Just
yes,
just one ball hanging out. Just like, guys, I'm going for a run. Camelback on and shit. Do you have a Camelback? You do, huh?
No, I didn't wear it. No, I was close to places. I mean,
you have one though.
I do. Yes.
I'm good. Yeah. Well, part of me says not good though, because maybe I thought, oh man, Christmas present for John, I can get him a fucking Camelback.
You know what I'm looking for? You know what I want to get is one of those ice vests that they give to marathoners. So they make them wear it before the race, so it super chills their core temperature. Because as soon as they start running, it warms it up. So they make them wear an ice vest. So I think, I mean, I don't know that I'm there yet, but But that
you will be, right?
I will be.
It's all about progress.
It's all about progress, right?
But
like,
nobody's perfect.
So the thing is like I just made this choice of like, you know what? I'm gonna look weird and silly and stupid and like, well, what are you gonna do? Would you like to have a seat in the lobby and have a donut and a coffee and watch, Animal Planet and ESPN? Right. And I'm like, no. I had an apple.
Got to get my heart rate up to 120. Sorry, I gotta.
This is who I've become.
Daylight's burning.
Right? Like, it's just, trust me, I am very self-aware at how, like, out of sorts it is. But I also don't want to, when I want to...
But you're in your 40s, and who fucking cares? Do you know what I mean? It's not like there's... And you've got a girlfriend, and...
Yeah.
It's not like there's a secret group of people who are watching you being like, that dude's a dork.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This is not high school anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And besides, I need to burn some calories so that I can get I had a bowl of noodles, and I went to the mall for lunch. I had a bowl of noodles, and I went and got a Jamba Juice like PB and banana smoothie. It was fucking good, but that shit's like
600 calories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I sat there in the massage chair at the mall, and I enjoyed a peanut butter banana smoothie.
Good for you. You got it. Sometimes you got to do 600 calories. I had a piece of cake yesterday. It was delicious.
Oh, nice.
And then I worked out today. You know what I find with this progress, though, is that in my personal experience with it, the way my routine is I tend to take like 3 steps forward, 2 back, 3 steps. Not like the Paul Abdul song, but I'll like do 3 steps forward and then 2 back. It's always like this kind of push and pull back and forth with me. But I always gather up ground each time. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I always end up, getting more ground each time. But there is a lot of backsliding for me as far as the mental part of it. Like I still get really angry. Like you were talking about earlier about forgiveness and forgiving yourself. And like I have a hard time with that sometimes. And I tell people all the time, you got to forgive yourself. I'll write it on Instagram and shit. But it's because I need to tell someone else to do it because then it helps me do it myself. It's weird. But yeah, I'm still really mad at myself. Like I still get angry at myself for my alcoholism and like where I could have gone with my career. But that's all what ifs and woulda, couldas and shoulda. And do you know what I'm saying? But like not the weak part, but that part of me that's like not ready yet is still like, you fucked it up. you could have done so much better. Look where you're at after 20 years. You're still in the same mindset, like your art never went anywhere. All this shit where I'm just telling myself I'm wrong, and then I have to get out of it, and kind of gain some perspective.
Mm-hmm. And so
right, but that's all part of that push and pull of learning for me. Because I've my upwards trajectory is really craggy. It's got like peaks and valleys. I just don't like go up on this escalator and bing, I'm there, and then okay, it's level up. Like for me, it's always this bumpy kind of road.
Right. Can I ask you? Okay, so when you talk about backsliding, and then then you're hard on yourself, and whatever you say to yourself,
right.
you say that
right.
like that. Oh, I should be further along than I am, and I've fucked everything up, and I've wasted all this time. What do you say to yourself, or what do you think to yourself after that? After you have that thought, and then you have a moment to reflect. Like, is there what is the thing?
Gross about it afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always feel a little gross that I've been thinking that way. Like, it makes me feel a little poisoned. I've been noticing this too in my recoveries. When I'm around negative people or people who are having a hard time and they're pushing their negativity out, and then I buy into the negativity with them, I feel like gross inside. Like I feel poisoned. I always say it, but I do. I feel like I've poisoned myself with this negative shit. So immediately afterwards, what I usually tell myself is, after that feeling, that hangover from that self-doubt hangover,
that's good.
Beating myself up hangover.
Yeah.
I usually tell myself that I'm full of shit and I need to just keep going. I do. And so I don't know if that's counterproductive, but I'm like, that part of your brain is full of shit, and all you're doing is indulging that dopamine hit from feeling bad and feeling sad, But a lot of my, like, growing up as a kid, a lot of the times, if we're going to get deep into our childhoods here, I love my mom. I know she's probably cooking dinner right now going, fucking Jerry. But, like, a lot of the attention I got as a kid came from me being negative. You know what I mean? Like, if I got hurt, when I was a little kid, if I got hurt, I knew that I would get affection, Or if I were sad, I knew that somebody would come along and, like, take care of me and help me, and everything else was just kind of like, hey, you're on your own, So I feel like those are those things that carried over into my adulthood. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm sitting here fucking analyzing myself because I'm an alcoholic and I love looking at myself all the time and fucking poking at myself,
No, I mean, I think it's possible. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist.
Neither am I.
I'm not a doctor.
Play one on TV.
But I played one on TV. But I think that there is a certain level of we get a lot of, I mean, if you take social media, for example, that dopamine hit of like things that make me angry, things that make me sad, get a lot more engagement.
I don't fuck with any of that. That's so funny you bring that up, because I don't like that. Like, I leave that alone. But go ahead.
So it happens the same in real life. And I think that sometimes, inadvertently or not, there's these patterns that we develop as kids. So I'm not saying that, you created a pattern maybe with your parents, maybe it wasn't the other way around. Maybe it wasn't something they were doing, but you found a way to get attention. And so every time you validated these negative feelings. So now you've got to relearn. You've got to rewrite the code in your brain, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the leveling up. You know what I mean? That's it right there.
This is something that I find it fascinating, because I love that idea of, I have this dirty emotional hangover because I took in this poison. I took in this negativity, and
it really is poisonous, man. It really is like a toxin.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're very sensitive people, Jerry.
Damn. and so, now we're gonna let 100 people out there know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We're gonna let the whole world know on our podcast.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I love that, because I have a friend who is very much into conspiracy theories of all kinds, and sometimes likes to talk about it, and sometimes likes to share things with me, and it really gets under my skin. And I finally just said, you know what, you don't have to share these things with me, and I appreciate that, you are seeking the truth, and you want to expose bad people, and I think you come from a place of good intention, but it doesn't feel good to me, and it spends too much time in my brain,
Yeah.
and I was like, fuck, why am I still thinking about this? You know, I'm just like, I can't, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't even really want to have the discussion about, because it's so hard these days with everybody getting their news from somewhere different, and nobody can agree on these things. And I just can't, I don't want to have those conversations because they feel icky, right? They feel poisonous.
Feels like shit. That's why I avoid them. Yeah. And that's why we don't talk about any of that stuff really on this podcast at all. Cause this is our fucking safe zone.
Space. Yes.
Cause we're two triggered ass motherfuckers.
It's true, man. And like, and I don't, I don't realize how triggered I get sometimes. And I'm like,
right.
what?
But it's, yeah, but I mean, every human out there does.
Right.
We all have something that is a trigger. The first time I ever heard the word trigger was in recovery. Mm-hmm. I heard a guy talking about being around a bunch of drunks, and that triggered him. It was his trigger, you know? And then I was like, oh shit, that totally makes sense. I'd never heard the term before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was in the past 5 years, you know? And now everybody throws it around like crazy, but you're absolutely right. It takes up too much space in your brain, and for some people, I don't know, man. I know people that love that outrage culture, and they'll be like, "Oh, did you see that video where that cop fucking killed that guy?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't see that video where that cop killed that guy, because I know that cops kill guys all the time, and people kill each other all the time. And me watching a video and getting outraged by it doesn't change the fact that this thing will still happen." You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I can get out there and vote or try to change the system. And now I'm getting a little too political.
Right.
But,
well,
do you know what I'm saying? But like, other than that, me being upset about it personally in my living room, doesn't do anything but make me upset. And I don't feel good when I feel upset anymore. I feel like shit. I feel gross. I used to feel good. Like, I'm like, oh, I have power now. This anger is giving me strength and power. And now I'm just like, I just fucking drank fucking cat pee.
It's gross, and I feel
it's gross,
sick to my stomach.
Man. I feel sick to my stomach, exactly. So that outrage, I don't fuck with that. But I still have those negative feelings where I self-doubt a lot. But that's human. We all do it, man.
Yeah. I guess my thing was, and this can be applied to anything, but the conversation I was having with my friend, and I just said, this feels like there's a lot of mistrust and fear and anger, and it's not where I want to be right now. And if one thing, one thing I've learned in recovery is, like, I have to base my actions and my thoughts on faith and on love. Right? Faith that everything's going to work out the way that it should be. I have to trust people. That's one of the biggest things. That was one of the biggest things that, like, all of a sudden I have to trust another human being, and you're like, fuck that noise, man.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
That was probably the hardest thing to do in the program, was to sit down and do the deal with somebody else. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, and now I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to live in feelings of mistrust and fear and anger, and I don't have to. It doesn't mean that I can't be informed or have an opinion, but, like, I really have to have more faith, and I because I want to progress toward that, not the other way.
Right.
There's another thing that David Goggins says, and he's the Navy SEAL dude, but he loves pain. He like runs 100-mile.
I don't know who that is. Oh, is he a runner?
He's a runner. He's a Navy SEAL. He fucking he runs those like 100-mile races in Death Valley in the middle of the summer and shit like that.
Oh,
like,
wow.
He's intense. But what was I gonna say about him? He's just super fucking intense. What was I saying? I was talking about
Pain and
David Goggins and fuck.
It was something he used to say.
And it's gonna nag me, and this is the worst time to forget it.
Right. But it'll come back later.
But yeah.
I thought you were talking about Walt Goggins, the actor who was on Justified.
Wait, was that the guy from Lost? Or no, that's I'm thinking of Titus, the
No, I don't know. Walt Goggins, he is ugly as fuck.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
he's an ugly motherfucker, but he's a good actor. He's got like really bad veneers.
Yes.
Like his teeth are fucking weird. I mean, he's probably a really nice guy. But I think you were talking more about like taking in about faith and love and caring, and you were talking about a bunch of hippie stuff.
Yeah, it's a bunch of hippie stuff. It's true. I don't remember what I was going to say about him, except that he, that's what it was. Thank you. I don't know. But he says, we're always changing. It's either good or it's bad, right? But you're changing every single minute of every single day. So you can choose for it to be a good change, or you can choose for it to be a bad change. Mm-hmm. And that's something too that really struck home with me in applying that to recovery. You know, he talks about it with physical fitness, but is like, well, John, how do you want to spend this hour? Do you want to go to a meeting, or do you want to fucking fuck around and watch the Great British Bake Off on Netflix that you've already seen?
And also, what's going to bring you more fulfillment in that moment in time? You know, it's like you had talked earlier about how sometimes you would miss meetings and you would get really panicked, and I'd feel the same way. Like, I haven't made a meeting in about 2 weeks. I was hoping to make one this weekend, but I wanted to sleep in. Mm-hmm. No, I haven't. But I wanted to sleep in on Saturday. I didn't want to get up at 6:30 in the morning, so I slept in. Same last Saturday. But that being said, like, I don't beat myself up about it now as much, because I know I'll make it again, and I know I'll end up talking to you, and I know I'll still read the book, and I'll still, you know what I'm saying, like, still work on myself as a person, you know.
Mm-hmm. You don't and I don't I think that whatever works for you is good, right? I'm not here to browbeat anybody into any particular way of thinking. No,
because that's counterproductive to what we're trying to do. You know?
And I think that some people might say that, like, Jerry, man, you're not going to meetings. You're not, you know, some people might say that, but you...
Of course, yeah, lots of people would probably say that to me.
But you...
I'd be like, clean up your own yard, buddy. I'll be all right. If you see me drunk, that's when you need to talk to me.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's like, and I don't think that, like, I don't feel that way. I don't say, like, hey, dude, it's 2 weeks. What are you doing?
I know, I'd get defensive, too. You'd be like, how was your meeting? I'm like, I didn't make it, but I'll be going next week. And you're like, you don't have to justify it to me, right? Jerry. I was just making conversation, but I felt guilty. Like, I'd be like, fuck, man, I'm really falling off. And there have been times in my recovery, within the year, where I've been like, damn, I'm falling off, I'm fucking up. Like, I need to make more meetings, or my sobriety is at stake, or my recovery is at stake. And I'm like, nah, not really, though. I have to sit down and think about it. Like, I'm like, am I working through my program the way I need to work through it? And if I'm having a hard time with it, am I reaching out and asking for help? And if someone's asking me for help, am I helping them? You know what I mean? Am I learning? Okay, cool, I'm doing all right. Do I feel a crazy person a lot? Yeah, of course I do. That's why I fucking drank for so long, because I'm a crazy person. Mm-hmm. Am I trying to help myself with that? Yeah. If I need to go to a psychiatrist, I'll go. Do you know what I mean? I can only help myself with what I can help myself. But yeah, I think the resource, AA as a resource, is super fucking helpful. Incredibly helpful. I wouldn't sit here and tell you that I'm a representative of AA, because I'm not. But I think in my personal life, it's been a very helpful resource. And using that program has been super helpful to me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we're human beings, dude. We can't, I don't know. I just can't. Sometimes I fuck up. As long as I'm not drinking, I'm all right.
And that's, I mean, that's the bottom line, isn't it? I can't.
Right.
I will not be able to make any more progress on myself if I decide to have a drink today.
Well, because then you just go back into fucking carbonite. You know what I mean? Like Han Solo and fucking Empire, you're just stuck. It's a visual joke no one can see. You're just stuck like Han Solo, you know, with your little arms up.
Just Google Han Solo carbonite.
Yeah, carbonite, because that's how I felt when I was drinking. I was in stasis, like I was just stuck. And now I feel like, yeah, like I run my 10 steps forward and maybe walk 3 back, and then I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? And then I'll run, you know, it's just all part of the process for me. Everybody's different. You know, some people may make great leaps and bounds right off the bat and figure it out, and then have a downfall and come back to it again. You know, I mean, we all do it differently. The way you approach it is different than me. I meet people who have relapsed a dozen times and have finally stuck. You know, I have people who have been sober for 50 fucking years, you know, so everybody's different.
When you talk about the taking 10 steps forward and 3 steps back, and I also think about, like, you know, we tend to not, and maybe I've said this before, but we tend not to give ourselves credit for the 7 steps we've taken forward. You know, we always
exactly.
we focus on the 3 that we fell.
I'm like, oh, well, I snapped at my wife and daughter today, so that means my whole recovery's out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Shit.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I also like the idea of, we're making progress here. And you say these things to me, and I think to myself, like, in another year or another, like, 2 or 3 years, Jerry, which I've never thought about life that far ahead before.
No, neither have I. I
Like-
told you. 5-year plan. I was like,
5 year. But I
don't
think
know.
about, like, those missteps. You're probably going to look back on those and go, like, God, why couldn't I get my shit together? It's so much easier now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
I
yeah.
take 20 steps and I only take one back. Like,
I
what-
hope so, man. I would really like that. Yeah, and I really hope so. That'd be rad.
I don't see any reason why not, because if you're
course.
diligent and if you look at the track record, right? If I look at my track record and I go, here's where I made some very slow progress, and then it was exponential here, and then it was stagnant here. Like you talked about, it's like it went everywhere. It was up, it was down, it was up, it was down.
Right.
And then it was really steady for a while, and then it kind of fell off, and I don't know what happened. And so
That just seems to be the rhythm of life regardless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I do think that progression, you're absolutely right. The farther you figure it out. I'm just going to reiterate what you said, but yeah, hopefully, and I only say that cautiously. Like, I don't want to sit here and put my thumbs in my vest pockets and be like, I got this shit. Next year, I'll be the boss. I'll be the boss of the podcast,
you will. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to change it to the boss cast.
The boss
Jerry
cast.
Wagner.
Well, I was
Yeah.
thinking we could get like a boss cast. I don't know. I've been thinking about some different T-shirt ideas too.
The boss cast. It's just 2 thumbs, and it's saying, this guy needs a beer. Have you seen those t-shirts?
Have you seen? Oh,
It's just
God.
2 thumbs, and it says, this guy is the boss, and it's
This
just
guy
2
is the
thumbs
boss.
printed
The
on
boss
the shirt.
cast.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at your track record, you're on track to make more progress. You've made so much in the last 5 years. You've actually become an adult,
Right,
which
isn't
you
that weird?
were not.
Yeah. And I like, what's even weirder is I like the adult I've become for the most part. Like I said, I've got my faults. I got shit I got to fix, or, progress, spiritual progress. But I like the adult I've become. I used to hate the idea of becoming an adult. It used to freak me out, dude.
Yeah.
It probably freaked you out too.
Yeah,
when we
I
were
was
drinking
scared.
and we were like, I'm not gonna be 40. 40's lame. Ugh. I don't
Not
wear
gonna
my
happen.
fucking New Balances and my dad hat. And now I'm like,
Who cares? This sounds great.
well, I wear my New Balances on the weekend. Yeah, my Nikes, my comfy shoes.
So I just I try to keep that in mind, that if I look at all the things I've accomplished in the last 4 years that I've been doing this, like, what could I accomplish in another 4 years now that I have, this much recovery under my belt, assuming that
Right.
I keep it up, and I have no intention of stopping. I have no intention of, changing up.
Right, and that's why I kind of say like, well, I hope so in a year, because all I really got is today. And tomorrow, hopefully, and I wake up tomorrow, all I got is tomorrow. So.
You're starting to sound like your dad, Jerry.
I know, man. I love it. He's like my fucking bodhisattva now. I don't even think he knows it, man. I like him and my mom, man. It's so funny, man. I fought them so hard, and now that I'm older, I look at them both, and I'm like, I want to live life like they live it now. Like they've got both ends of it figured out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad's got this like total Zen kind of like fucking way of approach with things, and my mom's got this like really passionate, fucking very sincere, like her whole heart is in it. So I look at them both, and I'm like, man, if I can mash that together, I'll definitely be the boss of the podcast.
I think
Boss cast.
you just spoke it into existence, Jerry. You will
Boom,
be the boss
there we
cast.
go, man. Yeah,
You just
she
cast
said
a
something
spell.
really profound to me once, man. Where we were out there and we were like feeding all her because she has a shitload of animals, man, and she's just like, these animals are my higher power. And then I started laughing. I'm like, they're so dumb though. And she goes, yeah, these dumb animals are my higher power. Like, she just, because I was like, they're fucking chickens, ma. Like, you fucking with chickens for. But she's just like, no, this is my purpose, man. I like come out here and they depend on me and I love them and they just love me for feeding them. And I was like, damn. Like later on in hindsight, I was like, damn, that's some fucking pretty profound shit, like helping something, I guess. I don't know. just being there for something.
Yeah.
Just
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, you just spoke it into existence. You shall mash those two things together and
Just did some
create them.
fucking recovery magic, dude. Just blew it
Well-
out there. Fucking expecto patronus that shit. You
We
know?
should talk about that too one of these times. I always love those things. They call them
What?
God shots.
Recovery magic?
Recovery
God
magic. Yeah.
Well, fuck, we already passed G. We just have to figure out. Yeah.
Well, I'll
But
see you
I,
next
I like
spring.
those.
Yeah,
I'll be here. You'll see. I'll have my T-shirt, my yellow T-shirt. It says
the Boss Cast.
Bob the Boss Cast.
The Who's the Boss T-shirt.
Who's the Boss Cast? It'll just be all about what's Tony Danza up to.
What was that show he was on? It was like Family Law or something. He was like a
See,
kid
man,
lawyer.
You've already done more research than I have, man.
I'm gonna need some exhaustive Tony Danza research for next week.
Right. He's just out. Is he dead? I don't think he's dead.
I don't think he's
still out there
dead. I
being
think he's
cool.
just laying low, man. He's just AO,
Laying low.
OA, you know?
Yeah. Hey, yo. Oh, hey. Hey, Angela.
Maybe we could do, what if we did like a radio show of like a Who's the Boss script? Like a audio version.
But A is for alcoholic presents
Yes.
Who's the Boss. That's not gonna. That's not gonna.
That's not good. That doesn't
It's got
help anybody.
nothing to do with what we're the whole subject of this.
There
is.
might be one where like Jonathan got drunk at a party or something like that, or
Maybe. Oh, he's still alive. He's 68 now.
oh wow, everybody's getting old, Jerry.
Dude, Alex Trebek's going back for his second round of fucking chemo. It, like, bummed me out. I thought he was in the clearing, dude. Turns out cancer's like, nah, dog. I'm not done. It made me feel sad though.
I
Like
know.
I don't know. They're all dying, man. Prince died. Anyway, that's the old cast. The old guy.
The old cast, the Boss Cast.
Dudes in their 40s when all our idols start dying.
Right.
Not our idols, but all the people we looked up to as kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're all dying. I looked up to Alex Trebek, my man.
I did too. I loved Jeopardy. You know,
He drank a lot. He drinks.
Did he?
He used to drink a lot. Yeah, I saw some old like footage of him doing a promo, and he's got a fucking tall boy under the podium.
What?
Like it's behind the scenes of him doing like promos for different.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like KMTR News supports Jeopardy, and then he'd be like, "All right, let's do the fucking next one," and he'd take a beer out and like drink it and put it back under the podium.
Wow.
And it's not even a good beer. It's like a tall boy, like malt. It's gross. It's like gross as shit.
Some Canadian
Dude,
Molson Ice.
I tattooed a camo can on a guy the other day.
I saw that
see
on
this?
Instagram. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
a malt liquor can on that guy, and it was a memorial for his grandfather. He's like, "This is my grandpa's favorite beer."
Jesus.
24-ounce cans of camo malt liquor. And his mom was like, "Yep, once he opened them up, you just open up another, and then another, and then another." And I'm like, "Oh, so your grandpa was like me." I mean, I didn't say that. I just thought it. I was like, "Oh." Except he fucks with camo, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, it was weird tattooing it on someone.
Wow, that's crazy. But I mean, I guess if it pays, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm not going to I mean, those are the one time where I'm going to be... I'm not even morally against drinking. I just felt
Right.
weird. Yeah, like looking at the logo of this malt liquor that... I've never had camo, but I drank all that other crap.
Mm-hmm.
We used to joke about drinking that pre-banned Four Loko. I remember I'd be like, I got some of that pre-banned Four Loko, you know? And
Jesus.
yeah, so I mean, you and I drank a lot of gross shit.
Oh,
Drank
yeah.
Thunderbird? Good Lord.
Thunderbird, Mad Dog 2020, all that nastiness.
Who needs that? It's like, that is literal poison. But once again, I'm not moralizing on it because I'm like, you do you. Just don't fucking plow your car into me and don't be horrible to people around you, and I don't give a shit.
I think that I needed the alcohol at the time that I was drinking, you know? Like, I felt like it was the only thing I had, and that it was protecting me, and that it was a friend to me. And I'm not saying that it was good. I'm not saying I was doing necessarily the right thing, but it was the best thing I could come up with, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like the best decision I could make.
Yeah, I think at that point in time, I have to really relate. I felt like I needed it too. Like I felt like that was like my way of socializing and like feeling okay in my own skin. And it just doesn't work anymore. It just didn't work anymore.
Yeah, and that's a trip too. It just doesn't.
Fucking dust in the wind, dude.
All
Just
we are.
fucking- yeah, dude. But I'm glad. Good riddance. Thank you for your service, but I don't need your service no more, booze.
Right?
I feel like a fucking Christian commercial. Like, I don't need you no more, booze. I got Jesus.
I got
you know,
Jesus now.
Yeah.
Christian commercial from the 50s or something.
Just from the 80s, dude.
But I feel I don't know. Let's talk about progress. So I suggest,
Right.
and if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But go listen.
I'm not running.
No.
Oh, okay.
But this is something that anybody can do. Like if you're listening to this podcast, and if you're enjoying it, if you're not, then I'm not sure why you're still here, and I'm sorry, but
you made it a long way. If you're not enjoying this, you fucking listen for a long time, and you get a gold star for that,
right?
Yeah.
But if you have followed us along since the beginning, go back and listen to the first episode.
Is it weird? I got to do it now.
Just listen to the first few minutes, and you can tell that we're just trying to be good, and we really want to like say good things and say the right thing, and it's very sweet, but it's very it's not the smoothest thing in the world. I'll just put it to you that way.
But yeah.
And so
yeah.
What'd you say? What were you gonna say? Your
no,
dog?
you continue your thought.
Just that my my perspective on it is like, gosh, what the heck were we were so uncomfortable. Like the microphone got turned on, and all of a sudden, like, we better be careful what we say and say it right. And so many and I still do that a lot. I try not to, but so I just look at the progression of that. And so listening to this one today, or I will, before release it, and it's a whole different conversation. It's a whole different people. So I mean, think about another 2 years from now. What it'll
How long
sound
have we
like.
been doing this now for? 2 years?
Something like that. Well, it will be 2 years. It's been 18 months.
Wow.
I know, right?
Doing this for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Olive was listening to this on her iPad yesterday, and she goes, "Dad, I'm listening to your podcast." And I'm like, "Don't listen to my podcast." And she's like, "Why?" And I'm like, just like I curse way too much. Like I say too many bad words. And she's like, "You listen to music with bad words in." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not singing the bad words." I'm like, "I don't care if you listen to what I'm talking about, because I talk like this with my wife all the time and in front of her, like she knows. But I don't care if you listen to me talk about my alcoholism. I just don't want you to hear me say fuck every other word, because I'm not walking around the house like saying fuck every other word, So, but I just thought it was a moment, because I was like, Megan's like, "Well, just let her listen. I think it's sweet." And I'm like, "I think it's sweet too, but I really literally say cunt and fuck like a lot." And
I don't need my 10-year-old daughter.
I don't need to cunt out my 9-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, cunt her out of the room. Like,
yeah.
She's sweet though. She wants to fucking figure it out, what my deal is. And I'm like, "Yeah, you want to know my deal? Just ask me. I'll tell you all about it."
I'll take you down to the meeting, the midnight meeting.
You ready for a dad speaker meeting? The speaker tonight is Dad. This is my 5 and dime. I'm the 5. I'm Dad.
Right.
Hi, I'm Dad, and I'm an alcoholic.
just you and your daughter. Like
just me and her. I'm like, "Now you say hi, Dad." All right, here we go.
Oh, I don't know why that's funny, but
that's like a Kids in the Hall sketch.
It is. Daddy's on the drink again. Boom, 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 boom.
Dude, the drunk dad fairy, that shit was so funny. He just puts a blanket over him. Yeah.
So that's what I would say is, check that out and see that progress in 18 months. And I'm looking forward to what we do in another 18. Thanks again for listening. Our music, as always, is by Neglect. You can find more of his stuff at neglect.bandcamp.com.
And you can find us on all social media platforms that matter: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can reach us at aisforalcoholic@gmail.com.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.